Alright people, review of the week time. So, lots to talk about in this video, lots and lots and lots. Let us start with the boxing that happened on Friday night. Let's start with Deontay Wilder versus Hearnden. Let's just get Wilder's box rec opened up here really quickly, because I think we need to talk about Deontay Wilder. He now has a record of 44-4-1. 3 of those losses coming by way of knockout. He won every round in there against Hearnden on a card that was on BLK Prime in the States. It was literally, right, I mean, there was no one on the undercard I have ever remotely heard of. Like, honestly, like, it was a fairly weak undercard for a pay-per-view in the US, but nevertheless, people were tuning in to see Deontay Wilder come back. I think that was what we were all interested in. And he came back with a win. I guess we could look at that win and we can say, right, he was letting the right hand go. Didn't seem to have much on it, but he was letting it go. It was a bit inaccurate. But the fact he was comfy enough to actually let shots go, it's not a bad sign. It's not a bad sign moving forward. But he still looks a shell of himself. He still looks an old man. That fire is not there. He's 40 in October. He's talking about making one last run. Look, Wilder is always going to be that name. He has name value. He's got, I guess, a legacy of some sort. Of course he does. I mean, he was WBC champion. He was a long reigning champion. He didn't do much with it, but, you know, it's still in the history books. So he is there as an opponent for anyone, really. And I think right now it's just do the Anthony Joshua fight. At the end of the day, Joshua was talking about coming back in October, November, or December. Wilder's come back with a win. Yeah, it wasn't a highlight reel devastating knockout, but at the end of the day, people would still watch that fight. It still has something to it. So for Wilder, he wants one last payday. Fair enough. There you go. There's your last payday. Anthony Joshua is probably going to be doing a 2 or 3 fight deal with Riyadh season. So there you go. Do it in Saudi Arabia. Make an absolute king's ransom. Sail off into the sunset. And I think that's the best thing Deontay Wilder can do, to be honest with you. I really just don't think much. I think that genuinely is the best thing he can do at this stage in his respective career. In terms of, like, other contenders, I mean, I wouldn't pick. I'll give you an example, right? I think I said it in my post-fight review, which, if you haven't seen it, go and look at it. It's done really good numbers, really good. I think people really seem to like the new. Our at AG Man's cameraman really is the mastermind behind fixing the camera. So thank you to you, Nathaniel, if you're watching. People really like the new setup, so thank you for that. I appreciate it. But yeah, when I look at, like, people like Moses Atelma, he would have a field day with Deontay Wilder at this point. Most people would. So he seems to me to be just sticking around for one last payday. He's made a lot of money in his respective career, so I don't know why. But Wilder is he's an interesting individual, to say the least. Wilder is very delusional. We know that. I mean, we really seen the delusion come out in full circle when he lost to Fury in the rematch, and the stuff he was coming out with. Well, it was his fans who were coming out with a load of nonsense, and then he went and bought it hook, line and sinker. You know, I believe he did a cringe video in a lift where he was saying, "I have proof." Well, that was nearly 5 years ago now, and where is the proof? We've never seen it, but there's that. So that was Wilder against Hearnden. He is going to come back. He is going to have one last crack at it. I think they should just do the AJ fight, just get it over with. Right now, I would pick Anthony Joshua handily to beat Deontay Wilder. I think AJ... See, I would have said at one stage it was mental. That was AJ's problem. It might be physical now after the Ruiz fight, after the Dubois fight. But I still think, you know, me and Ade watched the look back on Friday. We watched Anthony Joshua versus Usyk 2. And it's a long time since I'd seen that particular fight up close. That version of AJ was very, very good. He was in there against Usyk, so, you know, I mean, you could be very, very good and still lose. Most people do everyone has against Usyk. But that version of AJ, if we could get something like that we got in the Usyk rematch, we got a problem. He was lean, he was slimmed down, he looked so good, and he was letting his hands go in that fight. So yeah, I think with AJ, if we can get something close to that, because I think we can still get that, I don't think we can get it with Wilder. I really don't. I don't think we can get it. So I would say just do the AJ fight, sail off into the sunset, you made your money, and that's that. In terms of, I didn't see much of the GBM show last night. I was out with friends last night, and I did put on the main event towards the back end of the night, and I saw bits of the Bradley Ree, is it Shakan Pierce? It looked fun. Like, I was really only catching like little bits of it here and there. It did look fun. So it's a shame that there was a lot planned for that show. It was meant to happen in Galway. I think it took place in Hull instead. It was meant to have Hughie Fury on it. He pulled out. What new there? But you know, it looked a decent card. GBM normally do really, really good cards. In terms of the card over in America, yes, we will talk about Jake Paul versus Julio Cesar Chavez. I seen Amanda Serrano, Holly Holmes, made her return to the ring, 135 pounds. Holly Holmes got to be in her 40s now, hasn't she? She's got to be 43 years old, Holly Holmes. It's her first fight in 12 years. Wow, 12 years. And she's actually, you know, for a girl to go away for 10 years and come back at a lighter weight, that's actually pretty impressive. So, yeah, she got a win last night. I always liked Holly Holmes. I always liked her. She always came across as a cool girl. So, yeah, she's an interesting addition to the women's... Well, she's actually in the same weight division as Katie Taylor, so you never know what might happen there. We also saw Floyd Schofield first round knockout win over Tevin Farmer. Didn't see that coming at all. Thought Floyd Schofield would win, but I didn't see him stopping Tevin Farmer in a round. Caught him with some really good shots, scored 2 knockdowns, and then once he got back on his feet the second time, the referee correctly stopped the fight because Tevin Farmer was out of it. He was out on his feet. A few clean shots came in from Schofield. The referee jumped in and stopped it. Good performance. I mean, like, that puts William Zepeda to shame, and he's going in there with Shakur in a couple of weeks' time. Floyd would have been interesting to see what would have happened if he hadn't been taken ill. And he was. I truly believe he was ill. I really do wonder what would have happened had he fought Shakur Stevenson that night in Saudi Arabia. Gilberto Ramirez defeated Yurniel Dorticos. I haven't seen this fight yet, but there were 2 scorecards of 115, 112. There must have been a point deduction or a knockdown in it, and 117, 111. I wonder what happened. I mean, there's obviously got to be a 10-8 round in there. So did Ramirez drop Dorticos? Because it's weird, like, some of these... The fan scorecards, there's like a 10-8 round. It's weird. That's a weird looking scorecard. I don't get that. But yeah, it was. I would imagine that would have been a workmanlike performance from Ramirez. Dorticos always been tough, very big puncher, but he's pushing 40 now. How many miles are in there really still at this age? He has to fight now Jai Opetaia. I would imagine that makes the most sense. Get the unification in. This was only for the WBO title, it says here, which is strange because he's a unit. Of course, BoxRec. Seriously? You're still not ranking the WBA title, BoxRec? Seriously? Right, anyway, moving on from that, let's talk about Jake Paul versus Chavez Jr. I've already done a post-fight review on it. There's not much more to say. Chavez Jr. looked terrible, as he always does, as he always has in his career. Jake Paul, there's improvement there, but... yeah, I don't know what the plan is for Jake Paul. I really don't. I would say for Jake Paul, just fight Tommy Fury again. I'd actually probably pick Jake Paul this time over Tommy Fury. Well, I picked him last time, but he's actually shown some signs of improvement, whereas Tommy Fury is just being Tommy Fury, so make it out what you will. But yeah, Jake Paul, workmanlike performance. Chavez Jr. barely threw any punches for the first 8 rounds, and he did start opening up as the rounds progressed, and he did pull some rounds back, had a little bit of success. But for the most part, you could tell he didn't have his legs under him. You could tell he didn't have any real stamina in there, so he couldn't go at any decent pace until, you know, he felt, you know, okay, we're near the end of the fight now. I can let my hands go a little bit because what's the worst that can happen? But yeah, that was that. I would like to see Chavez Jr. just please bow out. No disrespect, but please just bow out. I mean, he literally is the name people just want to have on their resume because it's Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. That's literally it. It's just that name. Oh, I got to win over him. You know, Carl Frost was mentioning him back in the day. Loads of people where they just wanted that. For some reason, he's the name people want. Never had much talent. Not cut from the same cloth as his dad. As many second generation fighters whose parents were, you know, elite or very good are, to be fair, it's normally the way. But yeah, that's that with them. As I said with Jake Paul, Tommy Fury, see no reason why not to do that again. We'll wait and see what he does from there. Now, let's look at some boxing news. So Agit Kabayel is looking to have a homecoming this autumn in Germany. Frank Warren has told the Ring magazine. So yeah, you know what? Germany was, when Klitschko was in his heyday, you had the likes of Arthur Abraham, Felix Sturm. You got a lot of the Sauerlands were really doing a lot of good work in Germany at that time as well. And you've seen a lot of shows over there in Germany about 10, 12 years ago. You really don't see them at all now. I mean, you hardly ever hear big shows over in Germany. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see Kabayel go in there with someone. I would imagine it wouldn't be anybody, mad decent, if you know what I mean. Just given the fact that Agit Kabayel is interim WBC champion, he's been doing great work on Riyadh shows. I think you look at someone like Joseph Parker, he's WBC or WBA or WBO interim champion. They're talking about Chisora. They're talking about Dave Allen. So, I think it's going to be exactly the same thing with Agit Kabayel. They will get someone who's not going to upset the apple cart, so to speak. He's not obliged to fight anybody good, to be honest with you, he isn't. Because if you do decide, right, let's match Agit Kabayel with Martin Bakole, hypothetically speaking, right, and Bakole upsets him, well then they'd be saying, well, why did you pick someone so dangerous? So I wouldn't expect he's going to be in there with much come his homecoming in Germany. But look, Kabayel has been a proper dark horse in the division, because I've said it once, I'll say it again. I was not impressed with Agit Kabayel early in his career. When I seen him against Chisora, I was like, man, this guy looks just basic, just run of the mill. Like, there's nothing really crazy impressive about this guy. Boy, has he proven me wrong. He's really come into his own the last couple of years, and yeah, we've got a problem here in the heavyweight division with Agit Kabayel. What else is there? Oh yeah, obviously we had the press conference, and we obviously had the press conference there the other day for Canelo Crawford. The push in New York, that was interesting. The talk about Terence Crawford's resume. Now, me and Ade spoke about this in that E&G, man. I'll just go over very briefly here. At the end of the day, right, Crawford's run at 135 pounds. He beat Ricky Burns, Ray Beltran, the likes of them, moved Yorkis Gamboa, moved to 140, became undisputed there. That's not Terence Crawford's fault that 140 division was weak as anything. It had Victor Postal, who was a decent fighter, and Crawford unified with him. He fought Joe Molina Jr., don't speak about that fight. He fought, what was his name? Something Juan Diaz or something his name was. On paper, he looked decent, but yeah, I mean, it really wasn't. He became undisputed against Julius Ndongo, of all people, who beat Ricky Burns for that title. So, it was not a stellar run. It wasn't the 140 division that Josh Taylor became 140 at. That was a lot more stacked. Goes to 147 pounds, beats Jeff Horn, of all people, to become champion. Fight Jose Benavidez Jr. How good a win was that? Not really aged amazingly, to be fair. Then he goes and he beats Kell Brook. And this is not in sequential order. I think it was Kabalaskas he beat next. But then he goes and he beats Kell Brook over the hill, weight train Kell Brook. Beats him over the hill, Amir Khan. He beats a retired next fight. He retired that fight. After that fight, Sean Porter. At the end of the day, right, you can only beat the guys in front of you. And the resume has a lot of asterisks against it. Certainly at welterweight, the run wasn't terrible. The other two divisions, it wasn't great. Whereas you look at Canelo's resume, and it's just name after name after name after name after name. I mean, like, to do a career review of Canelo, it would be mega impressive, because he's got so many names on his resume. Erislandy Lara. He's got, didn't he fight Shane Mosley back in the day? He has Miguel Cotto, Triple G. Whether you agree or disagree with some of those wins against Triple G, well, 1 draw and 2 wins officially. Whether you agree with that, it's another thing. He has, who else does he have? Austin Trout. He has, Caleb Plant, Billy Joe Saunders, Callum Smith, Sergey Kovalev. It's an incredible resume, and I'm missing names here, but it just truly is incredible. Amir Khan. So yeah, it's like comparing apples and oranges. They're just not comparable, to be fair. I have enjoyed the build-up. I don't think you really need to sell this fight too much, because it's literally probably going to sell itself. I mean, it's on Netflix of all places. It probably won't do as well as the Mike Tyson fight did, but I am still mega looking forward to it. It's going to be interesting to see. A lot of people, like, I've seen Henry, a guy called Henry, shout out to him, was talking about weights in a recent video, which really did well for him. Great to see, great channel. If you haven't already, go over and give him a watch, a guy called Henry. I think personally, for me, the weight is the big decisive factor in it, because I don't think Crawford, if Sergey Kovalev is hitting you, if Danny Jacobs is hitting you with left hooks, if Triple G is hitting you and you're not showing any signs of, that's bothering me, Crawford ain't going to have a hope in hell in knocking Canelo out or really hurting him. So he's going to have to fight pretty much a perfect fight. And I think as well as that, he's fighting someone in Canelo who may be a little bit shorter in terms of height than Terence Crawford, but he cuts to make 168. He's probably going to be at least a stone bigger. It's just going to be too much, I think, for Terence Crawford to overcome. And I think that he will stand his ground with Canelo. It's going to give Canelo opportunities to light Terence Crawford up. So It's an uphill battle for Terence Crawford. He is one of my favourite fighters, really is one of my favourite fighters, but it's going to be an uphill battle for Terence Crawford. But people, I honestly, truly just can't wait. I mean, honest, genuinely, like when I look at this fight, I'm just looking, thinking, oh my God, this is going to be just epic. And the Ring Magazine on their X account, it is literally, when you look on their X account, it is literally just Terence Crawford versus Canelo. That is literally all it is. Let's have a quick look-see at Everything Boxing, who are very good, a very good account on X, great for boxing news as well. So let's see what they have to say, because they're one of my other go-to boxing accounts as well. Everything Boxing on X. I will say as well, I did see Christian and Bille stopped Selecki in the opening round of their fight. I think that was on Friday night. And what's relevant about that is Selecki is normally durable. Selecki is normally very good. So that's interesting. All right, here's an interesting one, right? So according to Everything Boxing from Boxing Scene, Haney versus Norman verbally agreed. That's reportedly anyway. WBO champ Brian Norman Jr. has verbally agreed to face former undisputed lightweight champion Devin Haney later on this year. Makes sense, to be honest with you, if you think about it. It truthfully does. It does genuinely make sense, because Devin Haney was meant to fight Ryan Garcia in October. Ryan lost to Rowley. That fight is gone for now anyway. Was meant to fight Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez was being Teofimo Lopez, a complete moron, and overvaluing himself. So there you go. I mean, no surprise there. That fight's not happening. So yeah, Brian Norman Jr., he's emerged as another dark horse in the welterweight division, though it has to be said. That's not a gimme fight for Devin Haney. Brian Norman Jr., tremendous punching power. He'll be naturally much bigger. You know, he's been natural welterweight. He's younger than Devin Haney. He's going to be hungry. People, that would be an excellent fight, but a very dangerous fight. A very dangerous fight for Devin Haney. And it's probably, I don't want to sound harsh on this, but it's probably not going to appeal to the casual audience in America. Most people don't really, like, Devin Haney is not as big a star as he thinks he is. It's just, he's not. Look at the numbers he's done on fights that haven't involved Ryan Garcia. They've been abysmal. That Prograis fight, abysmal. So it might tank a little bit in terms of just sheer popularity. You might need a Ryan Garcia versus Rowley. In fact, actually, if you did Ryan Garcia Rowley 2, that would have to main event it, because Ryan is the bigger name, even though Devin Haney is the better fight. Well, I say the better fighter. Well, the more honest fighter, we'll say. Devin Haney's never failed any drugs test Ryan Garcia. So that's an interesting one right there. So we'll keep our eyes closely watched on that one. Let's see. Turkey is planning a big card in November. He wants William Zepeda versus Andy Cruz. William Zepeda has to get by Shakur Stevenson. I don't like this with Turkey, I have to say, where he's always planning fights ahead before the fights have actually happened. You don't need to do that, because that's when stuff happens, as you know. Christian and Bille versus Lester Martinez. What about Christian and Bille versus Pacheco? That'd be a good fight. Martin Bacoli versus Moses Telma. That's an interesting one right there. Again, Telma has to get by Dylan White. I'm sorry. And Boots Ennis versus Virgil Ortiz. That would be a good fight. That really would. And potentially on the undercard of Canelo Crawford, we could see the battle of the big babies. Jared Anderson versus Big Baby Miller. I mean, Anderson is so hot and cold sometimes. Miller is never really hot or cold. He's just always thereabouts. I don't know. I mean, I don't know about that one. Let's finish off with this article from TalkSport, right? Blood about to boil here, people. Tyson Fury given the green light for an immediate world title fight if he makes a retirement U-turn. I kid you not, right? Should he choose to make a return to the ring, the Gypsy King has now been offered a world title shot. The WBC president Mauricio Sullivan confirmed the 36-year-old will be offered a guaranteed immediate world title shot should he decide to make a return to the ring. Speaking to Action Network, Sullivan said if Tyson decides to come back, he will always have the door open with the WBC. He will always be number one. So absolutely, we will give him a title shot if he returns, because he is top of the top. He carried boxing through the dark times of 2020. He didn't do anything. He hardly carried boxing. He didn't do anything, and got Tyson. And Tyson is is the one who elevated the sport, and he got Saudi Arabia to look into boxing. They were already looking into boxing before this. Sullivan is an absolute, just this guy, I swear to God. Just a few weeks after his second loss to Alexander Usyk, Fury shocked the world by announcing his retirement, in inverted commas. Following the defeat, many hoped that they would see Joshua versus Fury go head-to-head. Amidst reports of Fury potentially ending his retirement, speculation continues to grow as to whether or not he will share the ring with long-term rival Anthony Joshua. Right, now, look, the WBC have done this thing in the past, right, where if you retire as champion, or, a good example would be Vitaly Klitschko, right? Vitaly Klitschko retired in 2004 as the WBC champion, came back in 2008 and was given an immediate crack because he retired as champion, right? Fury lost his belt. How is he given it? Like, this is ridiculous from the WBC. Man retires, loses twice, right, to the same guy. Loses twice, retires. And he is saying here in this article, should he decide to come back straight in for a crack? That, to me, that tells me that we're probably going to get Fury Usyk 3 if Usyk beats Daniel Dubois. Or we'll get Fury Dubois because I'm telling you now, he's not going to fight Anthony Joshua if he knows he can just snap his fingers and come straight back and get an immediate crack at the world title and get an immediate crack at Alexander Usyk if he beats Daniel Dubois. So I would be saying definitely that Tyson Fury, I say for Anthony Joshua, AJ, move on. Because chances are Fury ain't going to fight you. Especially if he can still try, because he's still trying to sell. Because when I Googled Tyson Fury, because I knew about this article for a couple of days, just haven't done a video on it. As soon as I Googled Tyson Fury, one of the articles here says Tyson Fury still very bitter after his loss to Alexander Usyk. Well, why would you be bitter? You were beaten by the better guy at the end of the day. And I think the Daily Mail are saying Tyson's true feelings, blah. And while Fury is adamant he's done with boxing, it's clear the decision with the 3 judges scoring the fight 116-112 to Usyk still stings. Sullivan said, I call him regularly. Oh, I'm happy retired now. I'm here with my wife. Blah, 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 blah. He told me he was not happy with the decision in the second fight with Usyk. He's still very bitter about the judges scoring, was very upset, but he was retired. That's what he said. Well, again, he's still, this is the thing, right? He is still trying to make it out that he was robbed. He was not robbed first time around. And again, I'm not going to let people forget the reasons why he felt Usyk got that decision. He said that Usyk got the decision because of the conflict going on in Usyk's country, which is an absolutely ridiculous thing to say. It's ridiculous. I mean, the lack of class there is just shining right through. And now he's still trying to make out that he was robbed both times. He wasn't robbed both times. You were beaten by the better man. And you had literally you had everything in your side. You didn't have to shave your beard. You're the guy who mocked Alexander Usyk for having trunks up too high. Man, your trunks were nearly on your flipping chest, mate. You had everything going in your way. Everything. And you still couldn't beat him. What does that say about you? So there you go. Tyson Fury offered an immediate crack at the WBC title. Should he decide to do a U-turn on retirement, and expect an announcement in a couple of weeks, because I guarantee you fight week for Usyk Dubois, he's going to try and make himself the centre of attention, because that's just what he does. Is it not like he's done this before? So the kickoff press conference for the last Crescendo, that was a Monday. He announced his retirement the day of the press conference. It went from the press conference to everyone asking, Fury retired, Fury retired, Fury retired. It was all about him. Usyk Dubois too, the week of that press conference. I'm back in the gym. Sugar Hill Stewart, look at this, look at this. It goes from Usyk Dubois, what's going on, to, oh, is Fury coming back? So he'll want the attention. He'll be doing something in the next couple of weeks. I guarantee it. So those are my thoughts on that. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed the video as always, people. I hope you liked the new setup. It is absolutely boiling in here under that light. So I cannot wait to turn it off and open some windows because it's roasted in here. So I hope you enjoyed it. Smash the like button if you could. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. I hope you all have a great week this week. I hope that we can all get some good stuff going. It's been a great week for me. The look back, by the way, I tried to put that at the start of the video. The look back is up with me and Ade. It's lovely to be doing that again. It was brilliant being back doing that. Ade and G-Man, obviously, we will be doing it this week as well. Probably be doing it a little bit early this week because Ade is in America, I think on Thursday or Friday, and I go home to Ireland on Thursday night. So yeah, your boys are busy. You know, we're busy men. We're busy men. We've got a lot of obligations to be doing. So, but it's good fun, and yeah, it's been a great week. So I hope you have a great week this week, and yeah, leave a like, smash the like button, all that stuff. Peace.